Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Raghuji, will you do the invocation shlokas?
पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीमष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवते भवद्वेषिणीम् नमोऽस्तु ते व्यास विशाल बुद्धे पुल्लारविन्दाय तपत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारत तैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयः प्रदीपः प्रपन्न पारिजाताय तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः सर्वोपनिषदो गावो गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्ससुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं भीष्मद्रोणतटा जयद्रथला गान्धारनीलोत्पला शल्यग्राहवती कृपेण वहनी कर्णेन वेलाकुला अश्वत्थाम विकर्णघोरमकरागुर्योधनावर्तिनी सोत्तीर्णा खलु पाण्डवैरणनदी कैवर्तकः केशवः पाराशर्यवचः सरोजममलं गीतार्थगन्धोत्कटं नानाख्यानककेसरं हरिकथासम्बोधनाबोधितं लोके सज्जनषट्पदैरहरः प्रीतीयमानं मुदा भूयाद्भारतपङ्कजं कलिमलः प्रध्वंसिनः श्रेयसे मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम् यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो यस्यान्तं न विदुः सुरासुरगणा देवाय तस्मै नमः।
So, while we are continuing with chapter 8 today, what we will do today is we are not going to be if we find time we will progress. Otherwise, what we are going to study today is the nature of time. The nature of time in the according to our scriptures. Why is that necessary? Because in chapter 8 he talks of it. In the next few shlokas he will talk of few things. Number one, he talks of multiple lokas. So he talks of up to the loka of Brahma, there is a dissolution that will happen periodically. He very clearly says that in the next shloka. He also talks of the era of time, how time is there in the cyclical nature of time. Now, why does he talk of all this? So firstly, we have to understand, he's talking of death in the earlier part. Where he's talking of death, he's not talking of the death of the physical body. He's talking of the death of the ego. So that death of the ego happens at a point of time, and he says right over there, the ekakshara, omkara, when it is and holding the 9 dwaras all completely under control. At the time of death, physical death, in the time of the bodily death, most probably that is not going to happen, right? Because we don't know at what point of time and how the body is going to go away. But what will happen is when we are sitting in meditation and we are able to control our senses, we are able to control all those which are giving us the inputs and the outputs, and we are able to subdue the ego, that is itself a death. because the ego has died. Hence, he says at that point. Now, so therefore, this point of death that he is talking about, he then says that this is a whole cycle of coming back again and again and again. He calls this place Dukkhalaya because you keep coming back here. So how long do we have to keep coming back? So then we need to understand time. We need to understand the nature of time, of how in the Sanatana Dharma, time is maintained. Now, very interestingly, first, let us look at it this way. Every time there is 60 seconds, what do we call it?
A minute.
Every time there is 60 minutes, what do we call it?
Hour.
Every time there is 1 hour or every 24 hours, what do we call it?
Day.
Every time there are 365 days, then what do we call it?
Year.
So there is a cyclicality here. You can see that?
Okay.
So, right? Every time I'm saying, every time there is 60 seconds, you are getting 1 minute. Every time there is 24 hours, you are getting 1 day. Every time there is 365 days, you are getting 1 year. So every year it repeats in how many times? In how many, what period?
365 days.
Every year.
Okay. What is how many? 100 years for a lifetime.
Shatabdi,
No.
Shatabdi.
No. So will the year come back?
No, 60 years.
No.
60 years. I mean, given the nomenclature.
Very good. See, that is what our science said.
Yeah.
Right? Western science didn't have that idea at all. So what we said here, so therefore there must be some logicality of this cycle here. This itself is a cycle. So bringing that logic here, we talk about the 4 yugas: Krita, Treta, Dwapara, and Kali. These are 4 names of the dice, not the dice as we know it in the Western Ludo dice, the dice which was used for during the Mahabharata time, that had 4 faces. That had 4 faces. And it had 1, 2, 3, 4. So the 4 faces, these were Krita, Treta, Dwapara, and Kali. Right? 4, 3, 2, 1. 1 is Kali. So this, from the nature of dice, why is it called? Why did he rotate it to the nature of dice? Because this whole thing is a game. The whole thing is a game. So these are Rishis, they realized that this is a game, so they named it like the game of chance, right? So they named it with these 4. Now let us start with Kala, time. Now, the smallest unit of time that is referred to in Surya Siddhanta, it is called 1 Paramanu. 1 Paramanu. And it is 1 upon 60750 of a second. Now, I don't know whether that will translate into microsecond and nanosecond, I don't know. But 1 upon 60750 of a second is called a Paramanu. Then, the next level is called a Truti. Then a Tatpara, a Nimesha. A Nimesha is indicated is a blink, which is just about a little less than a second. Little less, 0.9 of a second is a Nimesha. 45 Nimeshas make 1 prana. 45 Nimeshas make 1 prana, which is equivalent approximately to 4 seconds. 6 pranas make 1 Vinadi. A Vinadi is 24 seconds, therefore. 60 Vinadis make 1 Nadi, which is 24 minutes. 60 Nadis make 1 Ahoratra, 1 day and night. 1 day and night. So this is one way of looking at it. From there, 1 day and night, the next cycle that we went into was to look into 7 days. So the 7-day week got created. 2 7-day weeks become equivalent to the fortnight, which is called a Paksha. The Paksha becomes a Masa. The Masa becomes a Samvatsara. Samvatsara is the term for a year. In the Sanatana tradition, there are 60 years. So when we do a sankalpa, what do we say? Prabhavadi Shashtya Samvatsaranam Madhye. Right? Prabhavadi. Why is it said Prabhavadi? Because the first Samvatsara in the 60-year cycle is called Prabhava. The Samvatsara which we are going through right now is called Shubhakrit.
Oh, Shubhakrit, yeah.
The Samvatsara which was before is called Plava.
No. Now we are in Shobhakrit. Shubhakrit was the last one, previous one. Now we are in Shobhakrit. Before that, Plava.
It's actually Shubhakrit.
No, it's Shobhakrit. It's now Shobhakrit, and before was Shubhakrit.
I'll have to check, because Plava, Shubhakrit, Shobhana. That is the cycle that goes. So I have the list of the 60 names by heart at one point of time. Prabhava Vibhava Shukla, Pramoda Prajapati Angirata, Sri Mukha Bhava Yuvan, Dhatri Ishvara Baudhanya. That was how it is to recite it. So in that, the name comes as Plava Shubhakrit. But anyway, irrelevant. 60 years. Now, this 60 years ka cycle chalta hai, right? Now, a unit of time larger than a year is called a yuga. Now, yuga, there are multiple definitions of a yuga according to astronomical functions. There is a 12-year yuga cycle, which is called the Varhaspatya yuga. Brihaspati, the planet Jupiter, takes 1 year or 1 month. Per month, it transits from, per year, it transits from one zodiac sign to the other zodiac sign. Then it goes from one other zodiac sign to another zodiac sign. It keeps doing this. So, har saal, wo Makar se, Mesh se, ityadi, it will keep moving. And therefore, when it completes the 12-year cycle, ek 12 saal ka chota yug, it is called. Right? Varhaspatya yuga. This is the one type of yuga that is calculated. Now, many yugas put together, there is something called a Mahayuga. A Mahayuga is a combination of the 4 yugas together. The 4 yugas together is called a Mahayuga. Now, how much time does it take? One Chatur Yuga, therefore, one yuga, Kali Yuga, is 432,000 human years. 432,000 human years. So some people say, oh, this world is going to end. No, it is not going to end right now. Because even our Sankalpa, what do we say? Kali Yuge Prathame Pade. Right? It is the first quarter only. We are still in the first quarter. Kali Yuge Prathame Pade Jambudvipe Bharatavarshe Bharatakhande, etc. etc. We are in the first 1 lakh years. अभी भी 3 लाख साल बाकी है कली युग के लिए. So therefore, Kali Yuga 432. Double that. I told you 1, 2, 3, 4. Double that, 8 lakh 64. Ratio of 3, 12 lakh 96,000 years. Ratio of 4, 17 lakh 28,000 years. Put all of that together, 43 lakh 20,000 years. It makes one Maha Yuga. 43 lakhs 20,000 years makes one yuga. Now, how does it work? The kalpa, one kalpa, 1 day and night. He talks of the in the Bhagavad Gita, in the next shloka, we will see that he talks of one kalpa. And he talks of the day and night of Brahma. 1 day of Brahma is equal to 1,000 Chatur Yugas. 1 day. 1 night is equal to 1,000 Chatur Yugas. So 43 lakh 20,000 into 1,000. That is equal to 1 day of Brahma. After that, he will have another similar time period of night. He will have 1 day and 1 night. Multiply that by 365, multiply that by 100. That is the life of one Brahma. And in each of these, at every kalpa, what does he do? 1,000 Chatur Yugas. In each Chatur Yuga, what has happened? The entire material world gets dissolved and gets recreated. So the whole process of this, there is another smaller subdivision of time, which is called a Manvantara. Manvantara. There are 14 Manus. There are 14 Manus. 7 Manu ho chuke hain, abhi 7वां hai, and 7 Manus are yet to come. The Manu who is today ruling us is called Vaivasvata Manu. He is the son. Vaivasvata Manvantare, right? The next one will be Savarnika, Daksha Savarni, Brahma Savarni, Dharma Savarni, Rudra Savarni, Deva Savarni, Indra Savarni. These are the Manus who will come in the future. So the whole process of 71 cycles of Chatur Yuga is called a Manvantara. So one Manvantara is equal to 71 cycles of a Chatur Yuga. Now a Mahakalpa is the whole of Brahma's lifespan. The whole of Brahma's lifespan. So therefore, this is the overall life period of the cyclical nature of time that our Rishis used to understand. Then what will happen after 100 years of...
So how many years does a Mahakalpa actually span?
So a Mahakalpa you calculate now. 43,20,000 is equal to one day. One Mahayuga.
Yeah.
Right? Into 1,000 is equal to one Kalpa. Right? 2 Kalpas is equal to 1 day. 2 Kalpas is equal to 1 day.
So basically you get 8.6 billion years.
Correct.
8.64 billion years. And that is just 1 day.
And now he is talking of 1,000 Chatur Yugas. 1 Kalpa is equal to 1,000 Chatur Yugas. 2 Kalpas, 1 day and 1 night. 1 day and 1 night of one Brahma multiplied by 365 multiplied by 100 is equal to the lifespan of one Brahma. That is called a Mahakalpa. We are looking at cosmic levels of time. Time beyond a period of time when the solar system also existed. So, if you look at the way in which this entire Sankalpa is done, how is that Sankalpa done? If you look at the way in which the Sankalpa, you should actually Google for a particular, I will see if I can find it. There is a very beautiful Upanyasa called Dushyant Sridhar.
Yeah,
Dushyant,
I know.
Dushyant Sridhar has given an English lecture on this particular concept of time on the Sankalpa portion only, where he talks of where we are placed. So we are placed in what is called the Shishumar. The Shishumar is like a dolphin, right? Now, our present scientists have placed the whole complex of the proximal galaxies into sort of a constellation that looks like a dolphin. And we are somewhere at one edge. And because we are egocentric, we say we are the eye. Right? So we are in the eye. And in that huge thing called the Shishumar, we are there in that small thing. So this earth itself has 7 dvipas. Of that dvipa, one of them is Jambudvipa. That Jambudvipa has 5 khandas. One of the khandas is the Bharata Khanda. In that there are multiple varshas, Ilavarta Varsha, etc., etc. There are Kuru Varsha and so on and so forth. One of the varshas is called Bharata Varsha. Bharata Khande, Bharata Varshe, Bharata Khande. Bharata Varsha itself doesn't have only, it has many varshas. So one of the varsha is Bharata Varsha. And then Bharata Varsha has 2 parts. One part to the north of Meru, one part to the south of Meru. So we say Bharata Varshe, Meroho Dakshine Parshve. And then you carry on Shakabde, Asmin Vartamane, so on and so forth. So this whole concept of time, why does he bring it in? That is very important to understand. Any thoughts on this? Why does Sri Krishna suddenly bring in this whole concept of time and talks about all of this?
See, actually, when the first time when I mentioned when I was going through the Bhagavad Gita on my own, and in the chapter 11, when he gives the Vishwarupa Darshanam, I for the first time I recognize that understanding the concept of time is actually very crucial, because to understand something that is even before time, you got to understand the concept of time. And in fact, you have to understand the futility of time, that the irrelevance of it. To fully comprehend that, I think that is a very valuable insight.
Okay.
That is my take on it.
Very right. He says, I am Mahakala, I am Kalatita. I am that which causes Nitya Pralaya. Nitya Pralaya, what is Nitya Pralaya? Nitya, daily, Pralaya. You are going to sleep, where you lose your identification with body, mind, intellect, is also a Pralaya. And by extension, the death of the body, right? The BMI death is also a Pralaya. That is called Nitya Pralaya. Naimittika Pralaya is the end of the single day of Brahma. So at night of Brahma, when the worlds disintegrate, the three lower worlds, Bhur, Bhuva, Swaha, these worlds, when they disintegrate, it is called a Naimittika Pralaya. Then there is Mahapralaya. It is at the end of the age of one Brahma. It's 100 Brahma years. And there is a fourth Pralaya. This is very beautiful. It is called Atyantika Pralaya. Atiyantika Pralaya. Atyantika Pralaya is when the Jiva gets Mukti. The Jiva gets Mukti. Now, why does the Jiva keep coming back? Why does the Jiva keep coming back? Because it carries the Vasanas. So even at the Naimittika Pralaya, the Jiva in the Karana Sharira carries the sheath of the Vasanas and goes and remains in an unmanifested state. Avyakta Rupasya. And then when Brahma wakes up and the manifestation re-begins, this Karana Sharira projects itself back into the world with that particular desire of wanting to go and become a rabbit or become a cat or become a tiger or whatever else. This is the whole cycle. To explain this cycle, Sri Krishna brings in this entire concept of time, dissolution, and so on and so forth. So now if we look at what the verses say, we will be possibly a little better to understand them. Let us look at verse number 15, isn't it? No, we start with 16. Did we end at 15 last time? Sorry, you are on mute.
15 लास्ट टाइम किया था अपन ने
15 किया था ना?
Ananya Cheta Patatam Yomam. Actually, we went to the 15th, yes. We started the 15th, yes.
Mamupetya punarjanma dukkhalaya shashvatam nanuvanti mahatmana samsiddhim paramam gataha. So this is, I mean, it's a repetition. This place is a dukkhalaya, shashvatam, right? Ashashvatam. Dukkhalayam ashashvatam. So that is how it is pronounced. Mamupetya punarjanma. Mam, me, upetya, having attained. Punarjanma, punah janmaha, again, birth again, punah again, birth. Dukkhalaya, place full of miseries. Ashashvatam, temporary. So this temporary place, he does not come back. Na apnuvanti, does not attain. Mahatmanaha, the great souls, right? Those who have discarded their karana sharira. Some siddhim, because they have become perfect. Right? They have removed the imperfections, rather I would say. They have not become perfect. They have removed the imperfections. Paramam gataha, having achieved the highest. So this is the repetition. Now we move to verse number 16. Abrahma bhuvanal lokaha. Abrahma bhuvanal lokaha. Punaravartinorjuna. Punaravartinorjuna. Abrahma bhuvanal lokaha. Punaravartinorjuna. Mamupetya tu kaunteya. Mamupetya tu kaunteya. Punarjanmana vidyate. Punarjanmana vidyate. Mamupetya tu kaunteya. Punarjanmana vidyate. Abrahma bhuvanal lokaha. Punaravartinorjuna. Mamupetya tu kaunteya. Punarjanmana vidyate. A Brahma Bhuvanat, up to the point of where Brahma lives. So, are there lokas beyond Brahma's loka? So, the Vaishnavite tradition, there is a beautiful, you can Google this also, ISKCON's model of the entire universe. And so they have created a model which they are going to place in some temple, which shows the 7 worlds below. So the Atala, Vitala, Patala, Patala, Rasatala, etc., etc. It shows the 7 lokas above. Then it shows where the Rishis live. Then it shows where the Brahma lives, and so on and so forth, right up to the highest point, which they obviously call Vaikuntha. It's a beautiful description, which has been taken from various scriptures. It's not from any single scripture, but it's very beautiful, very, very beautifully done. You should Google it. You will find the sort of a 3D picture which you can play around with. You can rotate it, and it's there. I'll see if I can find it. I'll send the link. He has not introduced any new topic here, excepting bringing in the concept of saying that there are multiple lokas. There are multiple planes of existence. So, the 7 planes of existence above us. The 7 planes of existence above us. Do you know the names? If you're doing your Gayatri every day, then you should be knowing Bhuva, Bhur, Bhuva, Swaha, Maha, Mahajana, Tapa, Satyam. Right? So these are the seven. These are the 7 planes of existence above. Bhu is where we are, and then Bhuva, Swaha, Maha, Jana, Tapa, Satyam, etc., etc. Maha, the level of Maha has been spoken of very detailed, in very much detail in the Taittiriya Upanishad. Then below us there are 7 planes: Tala, Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Rasatala, Patala. So there are 7 levels or 14 planes of existence. Up to the 7th above us, the Satyaloka, is also called Brahmaloka. So these are all, he says, ashashvata. Even Brahma, the creator, is also ashashvata. He will also get destroyed. He will also get dissolved. So why are you so worried about the fact that your body is going to get dissolved? Why are you so worried about the fact that these people, your uncle and your grandfather and your great-grandfather and so on and so forth, are going to get dissolved? Everybody is going to get dissolved, including Brahma. There is nothing in this world, in this universe, that will not get dissolved into dissolution. So everything that is in this material world, this is inclusive of all of this, are all nothing but material manifestations of Brahman. They are part of Prakriti. So there is a beautiful, in the Kenopanishad, there is a beautiful description where we, so just replace these characters with yourself, and then we can always identify this. So what happens is, Indra and the Devas, they have gone and defeated the Asuras. Having defeated them, they started partying, right? So Indralok is a permanent party. So they started partying. And there was this weird-looking character who was peeping in from the window. So Indra got very disturbed and said, "Who is this weird-looking character who is peeping in? Go and find out who he is." So he sent Agni. So Agni went and asked him, "Who is he? Who are you?" So this person, he is defined as a yaksha over there. Yaksha says, first of all, you tell me, who are you to ask me such a question? So Agni says, you don't know who I am? I am Agni. I can burn everything. I can burn you also. So Yaksha picks up a piece of grass and he looks at it, puts it in front and says, show me by burning this. And the Yaksha goes and tries to blow Agni blows his full heat onto it and nothing happens. Agni goes back defeated and says, I could not burn a piece of grass. So Vayu gets up and says, wait, Agni, you can't do anything without my presence. So I am stronger than you. Let me go and do it. So he goes, again he asks him, who are you? He says, I'm Vayu. He says, you tell me first, who are you? He says, I'm Vayu. I blow everything away. Okay, blow this grass. Nothing can happen. Now Indra, when he goes, the Yaksha vanishes. The Yaksha vanishes and a beautiful woman is standing over there in that place. Indra went with humility. He said, let me go and first find out who this person is. Not blow him away, not burn him down. And the Yaksha transformed into this wonderful, beautiful woman who said that the Yaksha and I are nothing but the manifestation of the Atman, without whose power you can't even breathe. There is no energy in you. There is no consciousness in you. I am that consciousness. Beautiful story. So our consciousness is the only eternal thing within us. Whereas everything else outside is in the material world and will get dissolved, is the story that is being told here by telling us, Brahma Bhuvana Lokaha Punaravartino Arjuna. Everything is going to get dissolved. So he moves on into the next shloka here. Now he brings in the concept of time. So he says, Sahasra Yuga Paryantam. Sahasra Yuga Paryantram. Aharyat Brahmano Viduhu. Aharyat Brahmano Viduhu. Sahasra Yuga Paryantam. Aharyat Brahmano Viduhu. Ratrim Yuga Sahasrantam. Ratrim Yuga Sahasrantam. Tehoratra Vido Janaha. Tehoratra Vido Janaha. Ratrim Yuga Sahasrantam. Tehoratra Vido Janaha. Sahasra Yuga Paryantam. Aharyad Brahmano Viduhu. Ratrim Yuga Sahasrantam. Tehoratra Vido Janaha. Sahasra Yuga, 1,000 yugas, Paryantam, until Aha means day. Yet we saw the term, right? Ahoratra. Aha is so day and night. Similarly here, Aha, one day. Yet, which Brahmanaha, of Brahma. Viduhu, know that. Ratrim, night. Yuga Sahasrantam. So for 1,000 yugas, they Aharatra Vidaha, those who know these and those who know this day and night. Ahoratra Vido Janaha. These are called the day and night of Brahma. These are called the day and night of. Now this becomes now easy to understand because we have now gone through the Vedic cosmological units of time and so on and so forth. So the 1,000 yugas, each yuga being of 43,20,000 years and so on and so forth, is what is being indicated here. So the Vedas, therefore, we talk about these number of years, one Mahayuga, which is one day of Brahma, 1,000 Mahayugas will make this Kalpa. Kalpas then will make the night of equal duration. So the largest unit of time, Kalpa, is 4.32 billion years, 8.64 billion years together is called the 2 units of Kalpa is equal to, so the unit is Kalpa. The unit is Kalpa. So 4.32 billion. 8.64 billion makes it 2 Kalpas, which is an Ahoratra of Brahma. This 100 years of such time spans makes the lifetime of a Brahma. Now what will happen after that lifetime? Brahma will also dissolve. That is what he is saying. So at that point of time, he says, avyaktadyaktayaha sarvaha avyaktadyaktayaha sarvaha prabhavantyah ragame prabhavantyah ragame avyaktadyaktavyaktayaha sarvaha prabhavantyah ragame ratragame praliyante ratragame praliyante tatraiva vyakta sanyake ratragame praliyante tatraiva vyakta sanyake avyaktadyaktayaha sarvaha prabhavantyah ragame ratragame praliyante tatraiva vyakta sanyake avyaktad, from the unmanifest, vyaktayah, the manifest, sarvaha, sarvaha, all of this, prabhavanti, emanates, prabhavanti, prabha means to be able to be visible, to be seen, so prabhavanti emanates, aha agame, at the beginning of the day of Brahma. So at the beginning of the day of Brahma, all this unmanifest, from the unmanifest, the manifest comes out. Ratri agame, at the fall of, at the beginning of Brahma's night, praliyante, they dissolve. Tatra, into that, certainly, avyakta sangyake, into that which is called the unmanifest. So here he clearly gives us the entire cyclical nature of time, the cyclical nature of this material universe, which is talking about how we come out from the vyakta and then we merge into the avyakta. If you remember in chapter 2, he gave exactly this, where he said, from the unmanifest to the unmanifest, in the middle there is manifestation. Right? That is the only change. So you are going from unmanifest, manifest, unmanifest, unmanifest to manifest, to manifest to unmanifest. You're just going to this cycle at a microcosmic level with the Karana Sharira. This entire cosmological construct also is going through the same thing. There is nobody in this universe that is not going to go through this cycle. Don't be afraid. Don't be sorrowful. Don't be dejected. Go and do your duty. It all comes back to saying, go and do your duty. Get up and start working. Uttishta jagrata, right? That's what the Veda says. Uttishta jagrata. Get up and get awake. So that is where we will stop today.
सर मुझे पूछना था, यक्ष कौन होते हैं?
Okay. So हर एक जो plane of existence है, each of these planes of existence, in theory, I'm not talking from experience, I have not gone into any other plane of existence excepting this one. तो इस plane of existence में हम जिस material world में vibrate कर रहे हैं, because you have to understand, all of what we are is energy, right? Energy vibrating at a particular frequency is palpable physically, and therefore it is called matter. When it vibrates at a different frequency, it becomes light, it becomes radiation, it becomes something else. All of it is the same energy. This our Rishis had told many years back. Yogananda Paramahansa actually states this in so many words in his own autobiography. So there are beings that vibrate at different levels of frequencies. So the devas are vibrating at a particular frequency. The yakshas are vibrating at a particular frequency. Yakshas are beings who are ever hungry. They eat. They keep eating.
Okay.
And they are beings who are therefore, because to prevent them from being such hungry people, they were put under another yaksha who was a Shiva devotee, whose name was Kubera. And Kuber worshipped Shiva. So Kuber ka deep worship karne, Shiv ka bahut deep worship karne par, Shiv granted him the authority to distribute wealth. He does not create wealth. Kuber does not create wealth. Wealth is created by Shri. Wealth is created by Lakshmi. Wealth is created, Lakshmi stands for effort, right? But distribution of wealth is done by Kuber. So he was put as the in charge of distribution of wealth, and he was made the king of the yakshas. So if आप यदि कुबेर का कोई मूर्ति देखेंगे, तो you will see that he is small in stature, he is pot bellied, उसकी बहुत बड़ी तोंद है, and he sits on a throne, और throne के नीचे एक मनुष्य है. तो धन के नीचे मनुष्य दब जाता है, इसीलिए कुबेर को ऐसे दर्शाया गया है. तो yaksha and yakshi, these yakshas and yakshis are very powerful beings, and they are close to the material plane that we live in. So it is believed that yakshas and yakshis can interact with human beings. So that is the belief that we talk about. So yaksha, yakshi, these are all ruled by Kuber. Kuber is the yaksharaj.
Thank you, sir.
चलिए.
Sir, you didn't cover the Manan, the task you gave for the last class.
Okay, go ahead.
You asked about read about the life of Dhrtarashtra.
So did you manage to do
Dhrtarashtra,
that?
yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, I quickly reviewed it, and what I also know about how he is manifested from the Trimurtis. And there are many stories. When I read through, I knew only one of them. The fact that the Devis got jealous of Anusuya and sent their husbands to test her. And so they go as bhikshus and ask for being fed. And they say, we have a condition, we can only be fed by somebody who's not wearing any clothes. So the story that I had heard is that she says, yes, but our scriptures say that a woman can only be seen naked by two people. One is her husband, okay, and her child. So I already have a husband, so you can't be that. So now, if you want me to feed you in that condition, then you have to be born as my child. So they are forced to agree now, because they are the people who put the condition, and so they are born as her child, and is Dhrtarashtra. And of course, the Devis now lost their husbands for a full lifetime, because now Dhrtarashtra has been born, then he has to grow, and only when he it goes back to them. So their punishment was that they lost their husbands for that period of time. And the other thing about Dhrtarashtra was that he is supposed to be self-taught, which actually puzzled me, because his father was Atri. Atri is the person who gave us the bulk of Rig Veda. So why would he have not learned from Atri? Of course, I understand the wisdom in pointing out that he observed everything around the universe around him, and that taught him everything he needed to know. So you don't need the scriptures. You actually, by powers of observation, can arrive at the supreme knowledge. That I understand, that I accept, but why would you take a person who is the son of one of the greatest sages and say that he had to be self-taught? I don't know where that sort of didn't.
So the mythological story is basically that Atri and Anasuya, they gave birth to 3 children. The 3 children that they gave birth to were Durvasa, Soma, and Datta. And the 3 children are obviously the representations of the 3 devas, and they have elements of each other in all of them. So Dhrtarashtra predominantly has the larger portion of Vishnu, but has elements of Brahma and Shiva also, and similarly with Durvasa and Soma. After having given birth to these 3 children, these 3 children were given away to various people. So Soma was given to Kashyap for bringing up, and Durvasa was given to Angirasa. Datta refused to be given away to anybody. So he remained where Atri's ashram is. And he, from his smallest, I mean, the youngest days, from whatever age he was, he started doing his tapas. Datta is in the Sri Vidya tradition. He is one of the people who is also a very staunch Devi worshipper, and Devi manifested and gave him the entire knowledge. Now Devi is nothing but Prakriti, so the entire nature manifested and gave him that the entire knowledge. Just opened up the entire book of life, so to speak. Dattatreya also is the author of what is called a very beautiful book. If you should find time, if you can read it, is called Tripura Rahasya. So it's a wonderful treatise in the tradition of understanding the three worlds, the threes, the thing of threes, right? The triads. So it's a very beautiful book. I won't go into the depth of it right now because that's a different topic entirely. But he is the author of Tripura Rahasya. So Tripura Rahasya is something that we should try and read. Guru Gita is also is a part of a Datta conversation. So it is Datta who speaks of the entire Guru Gita. So while Shiva is speaking to Parvati, but it is brought to us through Dattatreya. So Dattatreya has a long tradition in multiple areas. He is also the first Natha Guru. So the Adi Natha, the Natha tradition. So the Natha tradition also originates from Dattatreya. In the modern context, in belief systems of various gurus, Dattatreya is supposed to be the guru of Mahavatar Babaji. And Mahavatar Babaji is also supposed to be the guru for people like Shirdi Sai Baba and so on and so forth. So there is a very strong linkage to modern times through in Dattatreya also. So he's self-taught because he chose to from the childhood. And when Atri and Anasuya did not want to be burdened with children, they were in their own journey. And they knew that these children were actually manifestations of the divine. Nothing is going to happen to them. They were therefore given up to other people to be brought up. So that is why he is self-taught. Chaliye. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.